Alright, welcome back artistic ladies and gentlemen to another Meta Mondays episode in this Pokemon TCG Online series. Meta Mondays is all about decks which have proven themselves to be competitive in the past, as well as decks which are hyped or expected to be competitive in the future. And today I bring you a deck which people think does have some potential, and it is Yanmega BREAK. Yanmega BREAK, the 140 HP grass Pokemon with the barrier break attack, hits for 100 damage for 3 colors energies. This attack's damage is not affected by weakness, resistance or any other effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So Yanmega BREAK does not care about the Crystal Ray attack from Glacian EX, nor does it care about any coin flip attacks or any coin flip effects from attacks which prevent damage to our opponent's active Pokemon. Nope, it simply does not care. It will always happily hit for 100 damage. Now Yanmega BREAK does evolve from the stage 1 Yanmega with 110 HP and the Assault Boom attack. Same energy cost, different attack damage, 50 as the base. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon tool card attached to it, this attack does 70 more damage. So if my opponent has, for example, a Floatstone attached, or not my opponent's Pokemon has a Floatstone attached, we hit for 120 damage against that Pokemon. Now the main bulk or the most interesting part about Yanmega and Yanmega BREAK is the ability from the stage 1 Yanmega, which is the Sonic Vision ability. If you have exactly 4 cards in your hand, ignore all energy in the attack cost of each of these Pokemon's attacks. So basically, if we have 4 cards in our hand at the end of our turn, we can attack for free with the Assault Boom attack and also with the Barrier Break attack, because Yanmega BREAK does retain the attacks of the Yanmega stage 1. So Yanmega BREAK can actually hit for the Barrier Break as well as for the Assault Boom. And that is pretty darn interesting. Now what you see most of the time is that people try to build a deck around Yanmega and Yanmega BREAK only, where they try to build a deck without any energy so they can always attack. But the problem with that is, what if your opponent plays Hexmaniac? Hexmaniac shuts down abilities. So if your opponent plays down Hexmaniac, you will not be able to attack in your turn if the only Pokemon you play, the only attacker you count on is Yanmega and Yanmega BREAK. So that's why I have included some backup attackers and also some energies. I have included 4 DCEs. DCEs work very well with Yanmega to power up our Assault Boom, but also work very well with the backup attackers. And the backup attackers of choice here are a 2-2 line of Zoroark and Zoroark, as well as a 1-1 line of Blitzel and Zebstrika. Let's start off with Zoroark. Zoroark with the stand-in ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch this Pokemon with one of your active Pokemon. We don't really need that for our Yanmega BREAK or our Yanmega, because Yanmega does have a free retreat cost, but we also play Shaman for draw support, and we have the Zebstrika here, Zebstrika with a 1 retreat cost. So we can always, if my opponent licenses out our Shaman or our Zebstrika, we can always use a stand-in from the Zoroark. That is also why I have some Floatstones, for our Zoroark, or if we cannot get it out, we can always Floatstone a Shaman and a Zebstrika. Make sure my opponents cannot stall by licensing them in the active spot, because if he would do that and we would not play Floatstone, we would be forced to attach a DCE to retreat them, which is a little bit painful because we need our DCEs to attack and not to retreat our Pokemon. Anyways, the Zoroark does have a Mind Jack attack, hits for 10 damage as the base for a colorless or double colorless energy. This attack's damage does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So this is a pretty interesting attack, and I basically chose for Zoroark because lots of decks out there at the moment do play down a lot of Pokemon on their bench, and in the new format, this deck is made for the new format, which is going to apply from the 1st of September 2016 onwards, where only cards from the Primal Clash set onwards will be allowed. So in that new format, I foresee people still playing a lot of bench Pokemon, and maybe even more than they do now, because EX decks are pretty much hyped in that new format, and EX decks typically do play a lot of bench Pokemon. And against those decks, we will be able to hit hard with our Zoroark here. If my opponent plays down, for example, 4 Pokemon on his bench, this Zoroark will be able to hit for 130 damage, and that is a 2-hit KO on even Mega Evolution Pokemon, which is very important to note, because we only give up 1 prize, so we can fairly exchange prizes with my opponent. For example, if we get a little bit lucky and my opponent cannot knock out our Zoroark after we attacked his EX Pokemon, we can hit again, hit for the kill on his EX, take 2 prizes, then my opponent knocks us out, and he only takes 1 prize, which is exactly what we are aiming for here with this deck containing only one prize attackers like Zoroark, like Yanmega, and like Zebstrika. Zebstrika, the stage 1 lightning Pokemon with 100 HP and the Zap Zone ability. Damage from the attacks of your lightning Pokemon is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then the Crashing Bolt attack, again for a DCE, we hit for 50 damage as a base. If your opponent's active Pokemon has fighting resistance, this attack does 60 more damage. Now in the new format, this is going to be extremely useful against Mega Rayquaza EX. Mega Rayquaza EX is a colorless Pokemon with on one side lightning weakness and on the other side fighting resistance. So because of this fighting resistance we hit for 50 plus 60 is 110, and because of the weakness we hit for twice the amount, which is 220 damage against Mega Rayquaza, and that is exactly enough for a one-hit KO. So Zebstrika is a bit of a situational card, very good against Mega Rayquaza EX, also good against Shaymin EX because Shaymin EX does have fighting resistance and lightning weakness. Same goes for Lugia EX, basic Lugia and Baby Yveltal. Not to mention that Zebstrika is an excellent counter against Yanmega and Yanmega BREAK, since Yanmega does have the lightning weakness and fighting resistance. So if we are up against a mirror match, if my opponent plays Yanmega BREAK, we can use Zebstrika to one-hit KO my opponent's Pokemon with the Crushing Bolt attack, while my opponent cannot one-hit KO our own Yanmega BREAK if he only plays Yanmega, since Yanmega can hit for 120 at most, and our Yanmega BREAK here has 140 HP, so we will always require my opponent to hit for 2-hit KOs if he only plays Yanmega BREAK, while we can hit for 1-hit KOs with our Zebstrika, which is awesome in a mirror match. Now I will say, if Mega Rayquaza, if Lugia, if Baby Yveltal, or if Yanmega BREAK are not played a whole lot in the new format, I would recommend taking out the 1-1 Zebstrika line, replacing it with maybe a Maxis Hidden Ball Trick and a Gallade, the stage 2 with the DC attack. You could also replace them with Lugia, the Lugia EX or the basic Lugia, and you can even replace them with an extra line of Zoroark and Zoroark. Then it is time for us to take a look at all of the trainer cards. Of course, we do have some draw supporters, but we have a wide variety of them. We have 4 Sycamores, more Sycamores than anything else, because Sycamore is the most powerful draw supporter out there at the moment. Then we have 1 Birch, 2 Judge here, and 1 N. Why do I play Birch and Judge? That is because these trainer cards allow us to bring our hand down to 4 cards, or fill our hand up to 4 cards, which is exactly what we need to attack with our Yanmega and our Yanmega BREAK. And can also do that for us at some point in the game, mainly at the start, not at the end of the game when we have taken lots of prizes, but at the start. And can be a very good card to be able to get your hand down to 4 cards. You give yourself 6 cards, then use 2 cards, and just like that you have a hand consisting of 4 cards. So in total 8 draw supporters besides our Shaymin. That's a lot of draw supporters. Then 2 listeners to listen our opponent's easy targets, like his Shaymin, like his maybe like his own Yanmega, so we can deal with his own Yanmegas before they attack us. So always a very needed card in any deck, listener. Then the stadium of choice is Forest of Giant Plants. Each player's grass Pokemon can evolve during his or her first turn, or the turn that he or she plays those Pokemon. I think this is a given in any Yanmega deck. Any Yanmega deck out there will play Forest of Giant Plants, because it allows us to evolve immediately into our Yanmega BREAK in our first turn, if we are a little bit lucky, if we can find the stadium and all of our evolutions. And that helps us thin out our deck a lot as well, because we do play a lot of evolutions. We have 3 Yanmegas, stage 1, 3 Breaks, 2 Zoroarks, and 1 Zebstrika, which is a total of 9 evolution cards. Without the stadium, those evolution cards would remain dead cards in our deck for a long time, but with the stadium here we can use 6 of those evolution cards in our first turn if we manage to find them and get them out of our deck, thin out our deck. Because if we are going to judge ourselves, we need to have a thin deck, make sure we can draw into a nice hand from the judge. Judge can really screw your opponent. If he has a huge deck still and you judge him, he might draw into a hand consisting only of energies and some tool cards, and then you can happily hit away with your Yanmega and your Yanmega BREAK while your opponent is trying to top deck something good like a draw supporter. Then onto the tool cards, we do have 6 tool cards, 2 Floatstones, as I said before, for the Zoroark, the Zebstrika, and the Shaymin, and then 4 Bursting Balloons. Bursting Balloons are going to help us increase our damage output, because the Yanmega and the Yanmega BREAK only hit for 2-hit KOs, but with a Bursting Balloon we might be able to get a 1-hit KO. For example, if we hit with our Yanmega for 120 damage against an EX that has maybe a tool attached like a Floatstone, and then my opponent decides to attack us with that EX, he will put 60 on himself. 120 plus 60 is 180, and that is enough to knock out most EXs out there at the moment, except for Zygarde EX. So always very useful, this bursting balloon, to increase our damage output, not just for Yanmega, also for Zoroark and Zebstrika. These Pokemon have very low HP, so attaching a bursting balloon might make my opponent think twice about attacking them. Most of the time they will just hit our Zoroark even with a bursting balloon, but at least they have to accept some damage on themselves, which is very important. The extra damage is going to help us out tremendously. Then the item cards, we have a lot of item cards here. We have 4 Trainer's Mail for consistency to look for all of our other item cards as well as our supporters. We have 4 Ultra Ball to look for our Shaymins and our Pokemon, as well as 2 Level Balls here. Level Ball, very useful to search for our Yanmas as well as our Zoroas, as well as our Blitzels here. So quite a few Pokemon search cards. We do have some Pokemon recovery cards as well to get back Pokemon from our discard pile. We have a 1-1 split between Revitalizer and Super Rod. 1 Revitalizer, which allows us to grab 2 Grass Pokemon from our discard pile and put them into our hand. So if we were, for example, forced to discard a Yanmega and a Yanmega Break with our Sycamore, we can use our Revitalizer to get them back, and with our Forest of Giant Plants we can then immediately evolve into that Yanmega Break, which is awesome. And then we have 1 Super Rod to shuffle back our other Pokemon, like our Zoroark, like our Zebstrika, and like our Shaymin. Then 1 red card, a very powerful card at the start of the game, if you can start off first, and then red card your opponent down to 4 cards. You might get lucky and get your opponent stuck with a bad hand, which buys you some time, not only to set up, but also to dish out some damage with your Yanmega, while your opponent cannot attack you because he is not able to set up. Then we do have 2 Acrobikes for consistency, simple as that. In addition to our draw supporters and our Trainer's Mail, Acrobike is going to provide us some consistency. And finally, we have 3 copies of Seeker to grab our supporters back from the discard pile. Only 3 and not 4. Why is that? The main reason for that is because I already run a lot of evolution cards, and these evolution cards, as I said before, are dead cards at the start of the game. Mainly if we cannot find our stadium. So having 4 Seekers increases the amount of dead cards even more, because Seeker at the start of the game is not very useful since we can't use Battle Compressor or anything like that, and that is why I reduce it to 3. Also, we do run a pretty high count of supporters, 2 listeners, and then 8 draw supporters, so we don't really need too many Seekers to get them back. And that is going to be it here for me today for the deck analysis. Quite a long deck analysis, I've got a feeling, but it is definitely a very interesting deck, and it needs quite a bit of explanation as to why I chose to combine the Break with Zoroark and Zebstrika, for example. So I hope you enjoyed this deck analysis. I hope you enjoy the upcoming battles. I'm gonna find myself some opponents in the versus ladder. If you do, please leave a like. It is always much appreciated, and I'll see you in the battles in a moment. Kid Crayola challenges us to a battle with his colorless grass and lightning deck. This could be a mirror match right here. We could be up against Yanmega BREAK. Kid Crayola is choosing who's gonna go first. So this could be maybe Yanmega BREAK with Zebstrika as well, or maybe Yanmega BREAK with Raichu. Maybe my opponent plays Raichu, that is possible. We do start off with Zoroark and a pretty bummer hand. We need to get a draw supporter from the Trainer's Mail. And yes, it is Yanmega BREAK. And my opponent is going to go first as well. So we actually can get the first hits if we can manage to set up. We will see a Yanma in the exit spot, or the Pikachu, I think. A Shaymin. Alright, we'll keep the Shaymin in our hands. And there's the Yanma. Alright, it is indeed Yanmega BREAK with a Lightning Pokemon. A Level Ball, we'll see soon enough here. We might see the Pikachu at the moment. Will we see Pikachu come out? Or will we just see another Yanma? Interesting. Alright, so I'm not sure how this is gonna go for us. Pikachu is a little bit difficult for us to deal with. There's the Pikachu indeed. We could use our Zoroark to deal with the Pikachu. And we see an N. Alright, hopefully we can find a Floatstone from the N. We kinda need a Floatstone to retreat our Zoroark. No Floatstone as of yet, but we do see a better hand than the one we had before, another Pikachu. So my opponent is going to fill up his bench, which is good to use for our Zoroark. Or which means Zoroark can do a ton of damage to my opponent's Pokemon. And a Forest of Giant Plants ends with a Forest of Giant Plants, which is amazing. We will discard the Seeker and the Listener. We are going to grab ourselves a Yanma right here. Try to knock out my opponent's Yanmega if we can. And that is going to be our plan. We are also going to try to get out our Zebstrika if we can find it. So let's take a look at our deck when we can. We are going to grab the Forest of Giant Plants. We are going to discard the Forest of Giant Plants with our Ultra Ball. And then we are going to draw 6 cards with our Shaman. Yes, that's going to be our plan. Do we have the Zebstrika? We don't have the Blitzel. We are missing the Blitzel for the Zebstrika. A little bit of a bummer there. So we are going to get out. And another Zoroark is prized as well. Oh my goodness, this is not good. We need the Zoroarks and the Blitzels in this matchup, but we don't have them, which is a true bummer for us. So let's Shaman for 6 more cards. What can we find from our Shaman? Not too much of anything. I'll grab the Yanmega BREAK. This is actually not too good here. We're going to have to judge and get lucky from the judge. And that is going to have to be our plan. Yanmega, but we don't find any float zones. So we'll evolve in the Yanmega and then we will pause the turn. Pretty bummer start. First of all, because we start off with Zoroark, not our Yanma. My opponent had a better start because of that. And secondly, because very important pieces of the puzzle are prized for the mirror match. So we are at a huge disadvantage right now. At a huge disadvantage. My opponent can knock out our Zoroark here. Actually misses out on a knockout because it does not have the Yanmega BREAK. Alright, fantastic. We can grab another Shaman. I think I'll do that. I'll discard these cards here. Grab myself another Shaman and draw 5 more cards from the Shaman. We are looking for our Floatstone. We are looking for our Yanmega BREAK. My opponent seems to have a pretty bad hand from the judge, which is good. Yanmega, a Bursting Balloon. Not what we are looking for. So we are going to Sycamore our hand away, I think. Yes, let's Sycamore our hand away. Can we finally find our Floatstone? Oh, we find the... Oh, okay, we find the DCE and the Zoroark, which is good. We can attack here. We can knock out this Yanmega from our opponents and even attach a Bursting Balloon. Alright, finally we are on our way. We are not going to red card. I am going to take a look at the Trainer's Mail, and there's our Floatstone. So we are going to grab the Floatstone. No need to grab the Listener. We have a Listener in our discard pile. And then it's time to hit for the KO here with our Mind Jack. Hopefully we can find our Blitzel from the prizes. That is kind of what we are hoping for here. Can we find our Blitzel? We find a Zoroark. Zoroark is good. And my opponent promotes the Yanma. Now Yanmega can actually KO us because of the Bursting Balloon, but could always do that even without the Bursting Balloon, because hits for 50 and 50 plus 50 is 100, and that is the HP from our Zoroark, or the total HP from our Zoroark. Grabs the Yanmega from the discard pile with the Revitalizer and the Yanma, so we'll see the Yanmega come out and we'll see my opponent attack here for the KO, put 60 on himself. Oh, actually an Ultra Ball. We might see maybe the Raichu come out. No, Shaman for 5 more cards. Does have Shamans of his own. Interesting. And there is a Skyfield. Oh my goodness, he plays Skyfield. In addition to Forest of Giant Plants. That's interesting. That makes Zoroark really good for us. Another Yanmega. We did see the DC on the Raichu, so I kind of feel like licensing out that Raichu and knocking it out with my Yanmega. And the Raichu is there. Alright, we will do that, I think. If we can find our break maybe, or if my opponent attaches a tool card to Raichu, we can knock it out. Without a break, it won't be possible. Can my opponent attack? Actually, he can retreat into the Raichu and attack with the Raichu, but then we can very easily knock out the Raichu. He doesn't really want to waste the Raichu on our Zoroark. An Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards, can grab a card and can then attack with the Yanmega. Is that what is going to happen here? So things are looking up a little bit for us at the moment. We managed to get ourselves into the game there. And there's the Assault Boom for 120, kills our Zoroark, puts 60 on the Yanmega, which means we can very easily get a KO here. Even without our Yanmega BREAK, we'll promote this Yanmega. And we will, let's see, we are going to, what are we going to do? We could red card. I'm definitely going to bench my Zoroark. I am going to red card, I think. And then I'm gonna attach a Floatstone to my Zoroark. There's no point licensing out the Raichu at the moment. One V-Seeker in the discard pile. I could Sycamore here. It's a little bit risky because we might not be sure that we can attack. Sycamore or Judge. Sycamore or a Judge. We kinda wanna find Super Rods. How many Ultra Balls? 3 Ultra Balls used. Yeah, it's risky to Sycamore. It's definitely risky to Sycamore. So I'm going to Judge. The red card was not very useful after all there. We'll grab the first of Giant Plants, counter the Stadium, and then we will Judge here. Hopefully we can find something good for the next turn. Like the Super Odds. Maybe a DCE here as well. Floatstone, Revitalizer. No need for the Revitalizer at the moment, so we'll hit for the KO here with our Assault Boom for 50. My opponent will KO us with the Raichu for a ton of damage, but then we can KO the Raichu with our Break. We do get an Ultra Ball, we still miss out on the Blitzel, and we missed out on our Super Rod. Very important cards that we are missing out on. So here comes the Raichu. 4 prizes versus 5 prizes. For now we have the lead, but it might turn around really soon here. There's another Raichu and an Ultra Ball. Going to discard some more cards. Discards Yanmega BREAK and Trainer's Mail. Was it a Trainer's Mail? My opponent does play Bursting Balloon himself, which is interesting. We have used 2. My opponent has discarded 1. There's another Yanmega. And then we'll see the KO here for 160 from the Circle Circuit. Weakness, there it is, 1-hit KO, which is what I was afraid of. Definitely kind of afraid of. So we will 1-hit KO this Raichu, and hopefully we are safe for a moment then. Hopefully my opponent does not find any more DCEs. Let's see, I'm gonna take a peek at this Trainer's Mail. Bursting Balloon, fantastic. We are going to use that Bursting Balloon right here, right now. Barrier Break for the KO. Can we find our Blitzel? Can we find maybe a Draw Supporter? We are kind of in need of a Draw Supporter. And we find our Blitzel. Alright. How many more Draw Supporters are in our deck? 4, 5. So 3 more in our deck. 3 out of the 14 cards. Unless some Draw Supporters are priced. My opponent does find a Shaman. An Energy on a Raichu. And a Level Ball. Will my opponent attack with the Raichu for the KO? I think he will. Oops, what's happened there? Alright, that was kind of strange. And there's another Pikachu. He does find another Pikachu. Super annoying. V-Seeker for a Listener on our Shaman. Is going to knock out our Shaman with the Raichu. So now we need to do the same. We need to knock out my opponent's Shaman, because right now my opponent has taken the lead. Can we knock out my opponent's Shaman with our own Zebstrika? We need to do it very soon here. Circle Circuit for 200 damage. Oh boy, this is going to be very, very close. Very, very close. And this is why we were at a huge disadvantage with our Blitzel being prized. There's a Zebstrika. What do we do? I'm gonna bench this Yanma. We are going to Revitalizer the Yanmega and the Yanma from the discard pile. Evolve into a Yanmega, make sure we have an attacker for the next turn, and then it is time to hit for the Barrier Break for a KO on this Raichu. Give ourselves a prize. This can be the decisive turn right here. Can my opponent License our Shaman? Can he power up a Raichu? If not, we will take the game in the next turn. If we can find our Listener from the top deck, if we can find a V-Seeker from the top deck, or a Listener. We have a Listener and 2 more V-Seekers. This is going to be important. Sacred Ash, that is not a V-Seeker. Is going to shuffle back some Pokemon in his deck. We do see the DCE. He might be able to find the Raichu right here. If he does not use a Draw Supporter for his turn, he can Listener. Bursting Balloon on the Yanmega. Shaman, oh my goodness, he can do it. He has another Shaman. Are you freaking kidding me? He has another Shaman. This is probably it then. This is gonna be so close. Trainer's Mail, oh my goodness, he's got so many cards to use to look for his V-Seekers. Floatstone does not grab a V-Seeker there. Oh boy, oh boy. We need to license out either the Shaman. We need to license out the Shaman in the next turn to take the game. I was gonna say either the Shaman or the Pikachu. We could license the Pikachu, but if we can license the Shaman, why not license the Shaman? And there's a VS Seeker for a listener on our Shaman. He does have the Raichu in his hand, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe does not have the Raichu. Maybe he's missing the Raichu. 4 Ultra Balls used. Okay, maybe he did not top deck the Raichu there. Listener on our Zoroark. And a special charge. Alright, it does not have the listener for the Shaman. Shuffles back the DCEs. Oh man, such a close game. Assault Boom for the kill on our Zoroark. So we will promote our Yanmega BREAK. We are looking for a Super Rod or a VS Seeker. We did not get either. We needed Super Rods because then we could have shuffled back our Shaman and then use our Shaman to find a VS Seeker for a listener. My goodness, this is game then. We couldn't find it. This is game. My opponent is going to knock out our Zebstrika in the next turn. What a bummer. This is it. Well, I am gonna blame bad luck. I will knock out this here. Yanmega, take another prize. But it was really too bad. Really too bad. Level ball right there. There is the Yanmega BREAK. Yes, we were missing our pieces of the puzzle, and while we were looking for them, my opponent managed to license out our Shaman and do what we actually wanted to do before. VS Seeker for a Sycamore. He's just looking for to fill up his hand and bring it back down to 4 cards, or he's looking for his Raichu here. There's the Raichu. Alright, this is GG. A very close game. We didn't play on full power here because our Zoroark was prized, because we couldn't find our Blitzel, because of all those things. We probably lost this mirror match, and that is really too bad. Very nice game here, but I am actually a little bit sad. I'm not gonna lie. I am a little bit sad. We needed a little bit more luck there. Just a little bit more luck from the start to the finish. We were always just a little bit short. If only we could have found our listener right there, or our Super Rod, that would have been nice. We needed that Super Rod as well for the entire game to shuffle back those Zoroarks, and we didn't manage to find it. 750 damage dealt from my opponent, 600 for myself. Zebstrika MVP versus Raichu. Simayu, or something like that, is challenging us to battle with his Dragon, Fighting and Psychic deck. Let's get going here. We get to start first. Fantastic. Alright, let's go first then. Let's see if we can start off with a nice starting hand. Oh, this is actually not bad at all. I will promote my Blitzel. I will bench my Zoroark, attach a DCE to the Zoroark. Not sure if I will play down my Shaman. I'll have to wait and see. Dratini, alright. Yeah, we'll play down my Shaman. I'm kind of looking for Bursting Balloon, not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Judge or a Birch or an N. I don't want to discard 2 VS Seekers with my Sycamore here. And there's a Birch, alright. Another Transmail. Let's have a look. Ultra Ball, fantastic. We are going to Ultra Ball away the Sycamore and the Yanmega and grab ourselves a Yanma. So we can at least evolve into a Yanmega in our next turn, even if we don't find a Forest of Giant Plants. And then we are going to look for a Floatstone for our Zoroark and our Zoroark as well. There's our Floatstone, so we can stand in the next turn. I will also red card my opponent, reduce his hand size to 4 cards, and we will pause the turn. I am not really doing attach my Bursting Balloon. I might as well attach the Bursting Balloon here. If my opponent decides to attack, he will need to think twice here, because he will knock out his own Dratini, and I don't think he will want to do that. In the next turn we can VS Seeker for a Birch, and if we flip tails we can attack with maybe a Yanmega if we manage to find a Yanmega. If not, we can stand in and hit for a Mind Jack. There we do see a Korrina. Alright, I was not expecting to see a Korrina. Korrina for a fighting Pokemon and an item card. We also saw another Dratini get benched from the 4 cards that my opponent got from the red card. Did manage to find that Korrina, that supporter, which is pretty nice for my opponents. We might see maybe a I'm not sure what kind of fighter Pokemon we might see. Carbink? I guess we could see Carbink. Carbink and Carbink Break maybe. But Carbink Break is not very useful in my opponent's deck, because Carbink Break can only attach energies from the discard pile to my opponent's fighting Pokemon. And it's Groudon with Professor's Letter. So maybe we are up against Primal Groudon, which is good for us. We can hit for weakness. If my opponent attaches a Spirit Link, we actually hit for 240 damage with our Yanmega. Not the break, just the stage 1, because the break does not hit for weakness. They're reducing energy on the Groudon. We can still Lysen that Groudon if we find our Lysener before it Mega Evolves, because as soon as it Mega Evolves, Lyseners do not work anymore on the Groudon, because Primal Groudon prevents any effects of trainer cards on itself with its, what is it called? It's Omega Berate trait? No, it's, maybe this Omega Berate trait. Grabs a Wildfet as well, so I'm not sure what the Dortinis are doing. Alright, we will probably stand in attack with our Zoroark here. That's probably what I'm going to go for. Or I could just Sycamore my hand away. Birch or Sycamore. I am going to Birch actually. Preserve my draw supporters. Keep as many draw supporters in my deck as I can. It is a Tails. Bursting Balloon. Let's take a look at the Trainer's Mail. Can we find a draw supporter? Yes, an N. Or actually an Ultra Ball for Shaman. We could Ultra Ball for Shaman right here. And I think I will do that. Ultra Ball away the Forest of Giant Plants and my Zoroark. Grab ourselves our last Shaman in the deck. We will not attach the Bursting Balloon. There is no point at the moment. I don't think we are in any danger of getting knocked out. And if we are, then we cannot attach the Bursting Balloon to our Zoroark anyways, because it's got a Float Stone. So if we were to attach it, we would have to attach it to our Yanma or our Zebstrika. A DCE, I will for now keep that in my hands. A Judge for the next turn as well as this Viaseeker. So we are simply going to hit for the knockout with our Mind Jack for 100 damage right here. Take the first prize of this game. And it is another, another DCE. Oh my goodness. Well, I think I'll go for a Birch in the next turn again. And there's the Primal Groudon. No more Lysener for us and a pass of the turn. Alright, so I'm not going to end. I'll simply put a DCE in my Shaman, play down my Stadium. Then I will Birch once more. We are looking for Yanmegas and for heads. Yes, this time it is a heads. No Yanmegas though, just some Yanmas. Okay, well, Floatstone on our Zebstrika. And we will Mind Jack for 60, and in the next turn Mind Jack, or 70, and Mind Jack for 70 more in the next turn. So the red card seems to have helped us out tremendously here. Got my opponent stuck with a completely bad hand here. And a Professor Birch, never mind, finds a Professor Birch from the top deck. Oh boy, never mind what I was saying there. My opponent got a good top deck there and even managed to flip heads on that Birch. So should be able to find an energy for the Primal Groudon. Counters our Stadium. Shrine of Memories. I think that's a little bit too early there. Let my opponent play that down. Because right now he cannot really make use of it. We will in the next turn attach a DCE to our Shaman and then Sycamore our hand away. Bursting Balloon. Why do we keep finding our Bursting Balloons? Well, I might as well attach it to a Yanma. And then Sycamore. If we can get lucky, I might be able to just attack with my Yanmega. And we do find the Yanmega. We also find an Acrobike as well as a Trainer's Mail. I will use the Trainer's Mail first of all. Yes. Forest of Giant Plants. Or Sycamore. We'll leave both in my deck. We are going to Acrobike, DCE or Super Rod. Definitely the Super Rod. And then it is time to Super Rod, I think, yes. Let's Super Rod back the Yanmega and the Zoroark. Do we retreat and attack with our Yanmega or not? I don't think we need to at the moment. I think it's safest to keep our Yanmega on our bench here. And just attack with our Zoroark. 70 damage right there. if my opponent promotes the Primal Groudon, my opponent could attack with it because the Shrine of Memories is still in place, so maybe I should have countered the Stadium there. But I want to keep cards in my hand for now. Make sure in the next turn we can reduce our hand to 4 cards, so we don't get our hand below 4 cards. We have the Ultra Ball to do that here as well. And a Professor Sycamore for my opponent, discarding a Devolution Spray. Oh, and a Dragonite to heal up the Primal Groudon, it seems. A Floatstone on the Groudon, another energy, so we'll get hit for a Rip Claw for 100 damage. Yes, there it is, Rip Claw for 100 damage. My opponent did attach that Floatstone, which is a misplay, because we can now one-hit KO this Primal Groudon right here. We can use our Ultra Ball to find ourselves a Yanmega BREAK. Yes, that is what we are going to do. Discards the Lysander. Discards the Forest of Giant Plants. And we will hit for the kill right here, because we are going to judge my opponents. After I evolve into my Yanmega, it is time to go for the judge. Give ourselves 4 cards, reduce my opponent's hand to 4 cards. We find a Bursting Balloon again, but we cannot attach it this time, or at this moment. So we'll hit for the Assault Boom for 240 damage because of that Floatstone. I am not sure why my opponent decided to attach that Floatstone. Zoroark and an Acrobat. He might have forgotten that we can then hit for weakness. Always forget that weakness. Yes, but well, it was not so much about weakness as about attaching that Floatstone though. Because the weakness doesn't really matter. We are only hitting for 100 damage with our Assault Boom, or 100 with our Barrier Break. If my opponent would not have attached that Floatstone, does promote the Groudon. Does not promote the Dragonair, wants to keep it to heal up the Primal Groudon. All we need to do is deal with this here Groudon, and we should be able to do that, I think. The game could have turned out very differently if my opponent would not have attached the Floatstone. There is the X-Maniac. There is the X-Maniac. So let's evolve here. Can we find a DCE? We are actually going to Sky Return and promote our Zebstrika here. Time to Sky Return our Shaman. Do we promote our Zebstrika? A Rip Claw. No, I'm gonna promote a Break, and no, I'm not gonna promote a Break. I'm just gonna promote the Zebstrika and not attach a Bursting Balloon. I was thinking about promoting a Break and attaching a Bursting Balloon, but I'm fine with promoting the Zebstrika for now. In the next turn, we can attack with our Zoroark if we want to. Doesn't really hit for too much damage though, so we need to hope my opponent does not have a VS Seeker for a Hex Maniac right here. That would really ruin our game a little bit. Max Wind heals up the Groudon right here. And then we'll see a KO from the Groudon. Does my opponent play any more Devolution Sprays? There's a Devolution Spray for the next turn. Alright, we know he has a Devolution Spray and a Sycamore. Oh, we know he has a Dragonite, but he does not have Dragonite anymore, never mind. Interesting deck here for my opponent, definitely an interesting deck. I think he does have another Dragonite in the deck, and attaches the weakness policy. Well, that is interesting, because now we don't hit for weakness despite that tool being on there, but we still hit for 120, which is important. Being able to hit for that 120 is definitely important. A Dragonair. Yeah, I was gonna say it attaches the tool cards, and so we can KO him, but it was a weakness policy, so that did save him there, that weakness policy. He didn't really need it though, because now we can hit for more damage than without the weakness policy. I'm not sure if he realizes that. We will attach a Bursting Balloon. We'll attach a DCE to our Zoroark. We will play down another Yanma. And then we will Shaman for 3 more cards here. We are looking for things like Judge, VS Seeker. How many VS Seekers have we used? 2 VS Seekers. We could Lysander out the Dragonair and knock out the Dragonair and then the Dratini, and I think that's actually what I might do here. Go for that Lysander on the Dragonair, then attach another burst, or actually use my Acrobat. Forest of Giant Plants, no need. We'll grab the level ball. Then level ball for nothing. And in the next turn we have our VS Seeker to VS Seeker for a Listener, and we can attach another Bursting Balloon. So Barrier Break it is for 100 damage right here on this Dragonair. What do we get from the prizes? Another Yanmega. Another Yanmega. Wait, if we top deck something, yes, we should be able to hit for the knockout in the next turn. Unless we see an N. An N can kind of screw us over. An energy on the Groudon. Not enough to hit for the KO here. Certainly because of our resistance against the Groudon. So we should be able to take the game in the next turn. Unless we see that N. A Listener on our Zoroark is going to knock out our Zoroark. And that is GG then. Ripclaw for the KO. Alright. That is indeed GG. Was for some reason more scared about the Zoroark. Maybe he's thinking of using his X-Maniac again, and then we don't have a Pokemon to attack except for our Shaman. We top deck an Ultra Ball. We are going to go for the Listener play right here. Attach our Bursting Balloon, then a Listener out that Dragonair and knock it out. He probably also targeted our Zoroark to avoid the Bursting Balloon. On our Yanmega Break, and there it is. We take the game against this Groudon deck, a very interesting Groudon deck. I think I might just take a look at my opponent's deck list and maybe play with that deck list for this Fun Friday episode, because it does seem like a fun deck to play if we get, or if my opponent allows us to take a look at his deck list. Can we do it? Oh no, we cannot. It is grayed out. Oh, bummer. That is a bummer. Well, that's too bad. No Groudon Dragonite deck for me. 710 damage dealt versus 380 from my opponent. Yanmega BREAK versus a Groudon EX. Alright, let's find ourselves another opponent. Brook 1992 with the colorless Fairy, Psychic and Grass deck challenges us to a battle here. It's gonna be an interesting match, I think. I think we are up against Xerneas Break with... actually, maybe Xerneas Break with Garbodor, and I'm not sure what the grass typing would be.
Karp, 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 Karp.